Dear friend, one of the interesting challenges of legal analyses is changing the words, changing the phrases, changing the concepts to accommodate different threats, different situations that pose unique and varied challenges to us as a people. And one of the questions I have to ask is, when you have people such as the border czar, the failed border czar, Kamala Harris, when you have her basically aid and abet the systematic invasion of our sovereign republic, what do you think that is called? Explain that one to me, ladies and gentlemen. Explain that one to me. Kamala Harris was placed in charge of acting as a diversion, as a cover, as a distraction for the systematic and targeted and deliberate, violation and invasion of our collective republic. Now think about that. What she did was she was told, and she, by the way, hates the term border czar. So please, I ask you, do not refer to her as border czar. She will not answer to that. She is going to say, I'm not the border czar. I was there merely to look at and to investigate a variety of instances, a variety of cases, a variety of things involving countries, involving Guatemala and Mexico and the like. And I am not here as a border czar. I have no indication, no interest whatsoever in shoring up the border. It's the most incredible thing I've ever heard in my life. This is the woman who supported decriminalizing illegal border crossings. She stated she wouldn't treat illegal aliens as criminals. She advocated for free taxpayer-funded benefits to illegal aliens. She's aiding and abetting, constantly procuring, hiring. She's an accomplice. She compared ICE agents to the KKK. She called for dismantling ICE and starting it from scratch, basically just destroying it. She expressed support for sanctuary cities. She argued that temporarily closing the border violated federal law. So what she did was, she in essence was an agent. She is an agent of the enemy. She is an agent, aiding, abetting, counseling, procuring, hiring. She is an active participant. This border czar. And from the outset, she's been trying to undo all of the successful measures implemented by President Trump. Within their first 100 days, they took 94 executive actions to reverse nearly every Trump-era security measure and implementation to protect and to defend our border. What do you think about that? In March of 2021, this is when she was first. She became the border czar. By April, the first full month of her official tenure, illegal border crossings had surged 128%. The number was 178,795, compared to the month she assumed her role, which was 78,000. So the situation only worsened, with monthly illegal crossings almost doubling during her tenure, consistently exceeding 150,000 per month. Now, for comparison, under President Trump, illegal border crossings averaged about 50,000 per month. The number of illegal immigrants released into the country also soared under Harris, shifting from two-digit monthly releases during the Trump administration to 5- and 6-digit monthly releases under the Biden-Harris border czar situation. It's the most incredible thing anybody's ever seen. It's the most incredible thing anybody's ever seen. And she's doing everything in her power to say, oh, no, I'm not the border czar. Wait a minute, hold it. That's not what I'm doing. I merely was going to try to find out specifically what it was. What were the causes? What were the causes? What was actually happening? Why were people trying to enter our country? That's what I was doing. Now, treason, specifically listed and indicated and enumerated in the Constitution, deals with one thing. One is levying war. I don't think that would qualify. But there's something also called aid and comfort to the enemy. Who is the enemy? Who is the enemy? Who are the enemies of these United States? Who are our enemies? This is the thing which is the most important. By the way, interesting side note, maybe you get a kick out of this. I was watching, there was a show, the various protests that were going on regarding Netanyahu as he appears before the Congress. The amount of security that was seen on his behalf, the security towards him, and this says, I'm not making any comments or statements regarding him. I'm merely telling you the reality. The amount of security. And if I heard people say there were New York City cops there, that can't be. But this is what I heard as people were commenting. But the amount of security that was there that our own President Trump didn't get, Bibi Netanyahu gets more security in Washington. You would have thought it was Biden. It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen. What is going on here? If this is not constructive treason, I don't know what is. If this is not an active, and when I say this, if this is not an active aiding and abetting our enemies, for example, in the case of Kamala, because the enemies, who are they? Cartels. The cartels, absolutely. If this isn't, I don't know what is. If this is not treason, I don't know what is. You know, one of the things that they did was when they went after President Trump, they took this fellow, what was his name? Matthew Colangelo or whatever, I believe, from the DOJ. And they brought him, this was so weird. They brought a DOJ prosecutor here to New York to prosecute him. To prosecute an ex-president in New York. This is somebody who worked his way up the ladder, up the phylogenetic tree corporately, and he takes this ADA position, this special position, to specifically target our former President Trump. What we're seeing right now defies anything I've ever seen. Now, again, when you say, well, is this treason? Is this treason? What is treason to you? What is that? What is it that they are doing? Are they merely acting as Democratic operatives to help the Democratic Party? Is that the goal of this? Democratic operatives to assist the Democratic Party? Or are they trying to destroy the country? When you have somebody who is an active participant in this disaster, where she is the border czar, and her job seems to be nothing more than, this is incredible, nothing more than actively, actually making our defenses weaker, making us more vulnerable to who? Or to whom, I should say. Who? The enemy being cartels. Cartels run this. The cartel, I don't know if people need this, if they need me to explain this to you, but the enemy that we have are the cartels from Mexico. And the Mexican government basically is saying, well, we don't really know anything about this. You see, there's a very interesting thing. Let me see if I can explain this. Mexico in particular, for the longest time, has been acting like they really don't have any say over the cartels. That yes, there are cartels, and they're doing their doggonedest to try to fix it, but you know, what are you going to do? This is their theory. Let's assume in our country we had this group called the KKK. All right? Okay. And our group had this KKK, and this KKK decided to target other countries by invading, by perfusing and extravasating and flooding their jurisdictions with illegal drugs to poison and kill their citizens, to seize and capture their young people to make slaves out of them. And what happens if what happens, believe it or not, if this became the issue here? Now let me ask you this. This is critical. If we knew about this and looked the other way and actually benefited because of the fact that we had all these bad people traversing our border to go elsewhere, and we were actually diminishing our crimes by saying, no, go ahead. And then we turn to Mexico and we say, hey, look, don't look at us. They're acting in essence as our proxies. By virtue of our inaction, the Klan then becomes basically agents of the United States and proxy warriors, meaning that using the proxy argument, the United States would be invading another country because we have a group of people that we know are there. We're doing nothing to stop them. And we're basically making it even easier and assisting them in having them leave our borders to go elsewhere. And we're claiming we don't know anything about this. And we're making our attendant, our border, our contiguous country less safe by virtue of this. So it's time for us to use that same kind of legal theories like Colangelo did when he came up with this ridiculous 34-count indictment against President Trump for mislabeling a charge as a legal expense versus business expense. And what Kamala Harris is the enemy. She is an enemy. She is an enemy combatant, though she's not taking up arms per se, but she is a co-conspirator in the destruction, in the systematic destruction and collapse of our beloved republic. That's exactly what this is. And you can call it whatever you want. And they take this cackling buffoon, this cachinnating rube, and they put her in almost as an agent. And remember, treason is either, of course, levying war or aid and comfort to the enemy. Not only is it aid and comfort, she's facilitating it for the enemy. And basically making it, doing everything in their power. Because remember, what the Democratic Party is, the Democratic Party, this iteration, is almost like organized crime. It's like the mafia, so to speak. There's a number of things that their goal is by virtue of this. Because you got to ask, why are they so interested in this border perfusion? What do they want? Let me explain it to you. Number one, they want a permanent Democratic Party. Number two, they want to remove the filibuster. Number three, they want to pack the Supreme Court. And number four, they want to make D.C. a permanent 51st state. And they do this by bringing in new voters, new folks, and who knows how they are involved in something even further. For example, are these individuals, are these new illegals, are they biometrically tagged when they get here? Do we know who they are? You see, it doesn't make any sense for you to let all these new people in to vote, to be new voters if you can't keep track of them. It does you no good if you don't know where they are. So do they biometrically track them? Do they iris scan them and say, okay, you're going to go over here? Because in addition to their just being voter bases, voter people, they also can be sent to different parts of the country when they need to change population numbers for redistricting during census periods, so that they can add more democratic gerrymandered divisions. This is a systematic, a conspiracy to invade and to destroy the sovereignty of this country. That's what this is. And if you think that's exaggerating, you're not paying attention. If you think that's an exaggeration, you're not paying attention. That's exactly what's going on. That is exactly what's going on. And when you have the United States Secret Service, remember, there's two forms of inactivity, or quote conspiracies, as people love this word. And don't forget, the word conspiracy is from the Latin conspirare, to breathe with. It's an agreement. It's an agreement. It's an illegal confederation between two guilty people to bring about some form of whatever you want to call it. Okay, fine. The issue then becomes the following, and this is critical. Is there a conspiracy? Is there an illegal confederation to let it happen on purpose, to allow, by virtue of incompetence, ineptitude, understaffing, undermanning, underperforming, having Melissa McCarthy lookalikes, having these weird, someone said, it reminded me of this one fumbling, nobody knows her name. Who is this one Secret Service agent who couldn't find her holster? She reminded people of Pat. Remember Pat from SNL? You don't know Pat? Do you think I'm exaggerating? Do you believe that the coup isn't among the Democratic Party? The coup is against the people of the United States. They went after Donald Trump because he was going to run and win. They turned the full faith and credit of the United States government against him. Do you think that's treason? Does that sound like an insurrection to you? It does to me. It does to me. Do you think that what we're seeing right now by deliberately hiring this incompetent rube, do you think there is a conspiracy on the part of people to take innocent children who cannot possibly consent and to actively seek and actively provide for and actively green light their permanent genital mutilation pursuant to some kind of a dream, or I don't know what the word is or why they would do this, but do you think there's something to be said for that? I certainly do. Think about this. This organization, this seemingly innocent Democratic Party, much like the Teamsters used to look like a labor organization, is nothing but a front. It is a front for a criminal a criminal cabal, a criminal conspiracy, a criminal organization, a coup to savage and to destroy the rudiments and the fundamental underpinnings of our sovereignty. Now, it sounds, what I'm saying is like, oh my God, that they took Joe Biden out. Nobody's going to feel sad for him, but they took him out and they're going to move him in. Now, what they're going to do right now is they're going to take Kamala Harris and they're going to make her act. They're going to treat her like she is the second coming of Barack Obama. They're going to ask people of color, and they're going to ask black people and gay people and everybody under the sun to come out of the woodwork and to praise and to glorify. Watch what happens. Watch what happens. I'm telling you right now, that is exactly what's going to happen. This is war, my friends. This is lawfare. This is the deliberate and intentional reconfiguration of the laws in order to destroy, to dilute, to pare down and to make, for all practical purposes, irrelevant the laws of our beloved republic. And this right here, this wonderful document, this Constitution of the United States, is the only thing that stands between us and complete and total tyranny. If you don't think that our legal system is on the line, I can't help you. If you think that Kamala Harris is just out there to be this cachinnating, guffawing, chortling, logoreic buffoon, who's this woman of color who provides a new beginning, a new hope, a new source of pride. If you believe that, if you honestly and truly believe that, there is simply no hope for you. I'm sorry to say that. There is no hope for you. If you honestly believe, if you don't see what is happening before our very eyes, it is absolutely, positively the most frightening thing I've ever seen. So I want you, dear friends, to understand, to pay attention. And if you want to do, if you want to combat this legally using not only lawfare but the Constitution, you must vote. You must also recognize what's happening. And you must also recognize that under our very system, let me ask you a question. What is the minimum number of states that a president needs, pursuant to the Electoral College, to win, to get 270 whatever votes? What is the minimum number of states? And he's got it right, 11. 11 states. Make sure you check every day Real Clear Politics and check the numbers. And the trending is specifically in battleground states. We don't care about California. California's going to be blue no matter what. New York may be red, which is, I cannot believe I'm even saying that. So, my friends, I ask you, first of all, to please stay to subscribe to Lionel Legal. We have Lionel Nation and Lionel Legal. This is our sister channel. I also ask, beseech, implore, and entreat you to follow my beloved's channel, Lynn's Warriors. This is devoted to specifically trying to stop human trafficking, stop and arrest child predation, and to advance digital safety. Because our children are, forget everybody else, at the basis of this. What they have done is they have targeted, this iteration, this shadow government has targeted our children to destroy everything from their innocence to their gender to their future. I'm not exaggerating. So follow Lynn's Warriors on YouTube and Lynn's Warriors on Twitter as well. All right, dear friends. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for taking time out of your day. Please make sure you're subscribed to Lionel Legal. Make sure you hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams, because when the mood hits me, when I am ready, I come here. I want to spread the holy word of truth. I want you to know what's going on. This is not an exaggeration. And one more thing. I'm not a Republican. I'm not the usual. I don't particularly care for these people. I think the way it's being handled is ridiculous. I do believe in the candidacy of Donald Trump, and I'll tell you why. He is chemotherapy to this cancer. Chemotherapy are drugs that would normally kill someone. But in the case of somebody with cancer, it's the only thing available to kill the cancer. And sometimes the effects are horrible. But the bottom line, the end result is the destruction of something which is so horrible. Our republic is under attack. And we have, not only do we have to fight the shadow government, but we have to fight our sisters and brothers sometimes and our neighbors who fall into this trap, whose TDS, this Trump derangement system, so obfuscates their worldview that they don't even know what's happening. They don't even recognize this. And there's a reason why Donald Trump was allowed to win, because had the deep state and police state and intel state and shadow government and ruling class, had they wanted to have allowed Hillary to win, it would have happened like that. And nobody would have questioned anything. because she was on her way to winning. But they wanted Trump to win. They wanted 4 years because to really to bake in TDS. Think about it. Think about it. Tonight, Joe Biden is going to speak either as an animatronic or some AI. I have no idea. Many people have reason to believe they suspected that was even him the other day during this Delaware phone call. Some AI experts ran through his voice, and some believe it was. I don't know. That's not my expertise. Would you put it past them? Absolutely not. All right, dear friends, thank you so much. See you tonight at 7 p.m. on Lionel Nation. Have a great and glorious day, my friends and brothers. And don't forget these final words. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you.